Yeah, looks like it's done. And get that out of here. Oh yeah, it's done. Oh, hey everybody. Just baked up a fresh batch of, yeah, you guessed it, shot gel. We'll touch on this a little bit later, but stay tuned, got a video coming up for you.
Empty in the valley of your heart. The sun, it rises slowly as you walk away from all the fears and all the faults.
Hey everybody, Desert Gold here. Hold on a second.
The harvest left no food for you to eat. You cannibal, you meat eater.
Just kicking back on my first day off in a long time, catching up on some reading. Latest issue of American Rifleman. I hope all of you are members of the NRA. It comes free with your membership. Obviously, the NRA is something we all need to be a part of in these troubled times. Yeah, I got other reading I'm catching up on here too. Backlog, I don't know. I'd like to start off by sending my condolences out to the family of a police officer that was slain yesterday afternoon here in Phoenix. He was standing tall doing his job, and he was the unfortunate recipient of a crazed individual that they were trying to apprehend for parole violations. There was no assault weapons involved in this situation, and not a single zombie was seen in sight. And you might wonder why I'm saying that. I'm going to get to that in a minute. This video is going to be somewhat long. I'm not going to even try to bullshit anybody and say that I'm going to try and keep it short. And there's going to be some ranting going on. You might see some hand tremors again, slow speech, yada yada yada. Same thing that I always warn people about prior to some of my videos. Keep the troll growth down. If entertainment is what you're looking for, just go to the next video. If you think I care about the ratings on my videos and how many likes or dislikes, you're wrong. I could care less. And if you think that's not true, check out some of my latest videos, the Glock 2627 video. You'll see some negativity there. And the funny part about that is that I'll get into maybe some of that later too. Most of the negativity on the ratings on that are ill-conceived people thinking that I was dissing the 26 over the 27. These mental giants didn't probably bother to fire up any one of their synaptic neurons to think a little further and evaluate what the video was really about. Anyway, like I said, this is not an entertainment video. There's going to be a lot of ranting going on. If these aren't your cup of tea, then move on. And Kilo Mike Alpha Mike Foxtrot. So for those of you that are interested in learning a few things, let's get started. Referencing my statement on zombies, we as a rifle and firearms community often rant about the liberals and the anti-gun people, and yet we provide them with some of the most damaging ammunition to deal with. I mean, think about it. One of our most referenced targets of acquisition is a fictional being, a zombie. What the hell I mean, what are we doing here? We are providing, like I said, ammunition for people to think that individuals with firearms are preparing for a zombie apocalypse. That's never going to happen, people. I don't know what, I mean, a little too much Walking Dead, not enough Discovery and modern marvels. I don't know, but you need to get over it. How did I get on this? Well, I was hanging out at one of my good friends' channels, Ebomi's channel. And if you haven't been over to his side, he's got a couple of channels. The Ebomi channel, which deals with all things guns and firearms. Excellent channel. And then he's got the B&E Brew Reviews, and that's beer and politics. Well, there's a good combination. Anyway, I'll put links down below on this one. If you don't already belong to the channel, definitely subscribe. They're good places to learn. But while I was hanging out at his latest video, Go To Guns, it was a tagging chain that was initiated by Rise Arms, and the subject of the video responses was, what was your go-to guns? And almost every single video that I came across in the chain of taggings at some point or another referenced one of their firearms dedicated to the zombie apocalypse. I don't know. We need to do better than that, people. I mean, if you want to have a firearm just dedicated to a fictional entity, then in my opinion, you're wasting money on assets that could be put into a more functional and usable asset. And this is what I'm going to get to now. Go to guns. What does that mean? I mean, is that a situation where somebody comes into the house and you've got a go-to gun for home defense? In most cases, yes. A lot of people, a majority of the people, have one, maybe two shotguns for that purpose. I tend to look at things more in a go-to system. It's more along the lines of things that interact or interchange to go beyond the intended primary purpose. And what does that mean? My home defense weapon, and you've seen it before, is the H&K USP Tactical 45. On this, it is completely stock with the exception of Streamlight's TLR-S2, 2S, I'm sorry, and of course the Osprey 45 suppressor. Why Oh, and by the way, yes, it is loaded. And for you safety Sallies, I do have a beer. Why do I choose the 45? Well, one, if something goes bump in the night, you're going to be coming around from sound sleep. You're going to be trying to put your faculties in order. You're going to be grabbing a firearm and hopefully not just going blasting away. But in the worst case scenario, you're going to have to be firing a weapon. I don't know if you have ever fired a weapon without ear protection. And I'm sure people are going to say, well, in this kind of scenario, who cares about ear protection? You're half asleep, like I said, you're semi-panicked or at least in a tense situation, and you fire off that first round, all your faculties are going to go upside down again. The muzzle flash, if you're not using a proper defense load, the report of the round going off, and I'm telling you, you fire off a 12 gauge inside a house, you're going to disable yourself in most cases. My choice for home defense is the 45. The H&K has a large mag capacity, and I've alternated rounds with the Spear Gold Dot. I'm sorry. In my home defense, I've got the Ranger T plus P 230 grain, alternating with the 180 grain Grizzly Extremes. The Rangers are excellent, as you know, in expanding into the talons. And if you saw my Grizzly Extreme video, you'll know what the maximum expansion of the Grizzly Extreme will do. What have you done with this? You have created a shooting system for indoor defense, maximum expansion with minimal overpenetration, which is exactly what you want. You want maximum expansion, imparting all of the muzzle energy into the target and not going through the target and into your neighbor's house. The TLR S2, as you know, has this strobe. Maybe you can use the strobe to disable the individual without taking the next lethal step. Suppressor obviously allows you to maintain a more stable faculty orientation without the disabling side effects of a unsuppressed round. But that's only part of the system. The other part of the system is the vest that I keep at my bedside. This is Palm Armor. Excellent, excellent vest. Lightweight. You know, when I first went out in the desert to do the Grizzly Extreme 45 video, I got again a shit ton of negative feedback about people commenting about how I was just trying to look all tactical and look at the fat old guy in the vest that's too small for him. This is not a military plate carrier. It is not intended for tactical use. This is intended for home defense, exactly what I've got it for. It sits at my bedside. Now, aside from the people that were commenting on me trying to look tactical out there in the desert, the real reason I had it on was because it was the day after Christmas, and I was out in the middle of the Sonoran Desert by myself. And there were a number of people in the area that had firearms and had been drinking. And if you watch my video, you will actually hear, as I'm setting up one of the targets, a ricochet that comes right by me. So people can say what they want to and be haters if they want to. There's reasons that I do things. And there should be reasons why you do things with respect to your defense and your family's defense. So how does this fit into the system? Well, as I said, it's lightweight. It sits at my bedside, and you hear a bump in the night, the first thing you do is you don your vest. This gives you an extra layer of protection, added confidence. I'm not saying cockiness, I'm saying confidence. And as you see, a secondary weapon. This is the Glock 19. If for whatever reason your primary goes down, you're wearing the Glock 19, and you're all familiar with that as a backup. And also on the back, we got a SOG knife. So it's a defensive system meant for the house. It's not a tactical situation that you're going to go out and do close quarter combat with. Other things, you know, there's a lot of things that you can set up as systems. Another video, as I mentioned, that I got a ton of negativity on was the fact that I was using the Glock 27 and all the Glock 26 fans were just hating all over me on it, not realizing that I actually had both weapons. I mean, it's the same weapon, it's just chambered differently. And people are saying that, well, you got to go buy a magazine that holds 9mm. Okay, so for a barrel and a magazine, you've got two different firearms. And why is that important? Let's say that your home defense supply on 40 Smith & Wessons is running low, but you've got a shit ton of 9mm. You know what? 2 seconds, you have that 40 barrel out, you have the 9mm barrel in, you've got a Glock 26. And as I showed, I mean, the neat part about Glocks, I mean, all the Glock haters out there, they're ugly, black blocks and this and that. If you're buying a weapon based on its looks, you really shouldn't be owning a weapon. Functionality and dependability, those are the things that you want in your firearm. It could look like a turd with a handle on it. If it goes boom every time and you hit your target every time, I'll take the turd with the handle on it over spiffed out Ed Brown. All right? So, home defense. Primary would be the vest, backup weapon, and my H&K USP 45 Tactical as a system. Now, in reading into this further, you might want to also have an area where you can get a hold of a backup weapon somewhere else in the house. Yes, sir. This is some heavy reading here, all right? Also put out by the NRA. Oh, another area of the house, you would have your Glock 20. But let's say your 10 mil ammo is running low. I'll put my 9x25 barrel in. Okay, I got a ton of 9 mil bullets. But maybe I'm running out of 9x25 brass. What do I do? Let's take a look at that. Okay, so things have deteriorated and you're in a WROL, without rule of law situation. And you are defending your home and your family. You come out to reload more 10s because that is one of your home backup weapons, and lo and behold, oh my goodness, I'm out of 40 bullets. What do I do? What do I do? I've got a crap ton of 9 mils. Oh man, these are some 115 grains. That'll work well. What else do I have? No 9x25 brass. I've got a lot of 10 mil brass. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Let's just make some 9x25s out of 10s. We'll pull the 10 mil system out. Alright, let's get this out of the way. And for purposes of demonstration, I'm just going to put the die set in. I can really start loading any right now. Alright, so we've got the 9x25 set in. We have 10 mil brass. Alright, you can see 10 mil. Alright, stick it in old station number 1. You now have a 9x25 all set, decapped, ready. All right, see, part of a system, not a focus on any one go-to scenario. You have to be able to overcome, adapt, and improvise. Have it be a flowing system. All right, so let's continue. All right, so I told you this is going to be a lengthy one, but for you, for those of you that are still hanging in here, we're going to continue. Still got some other home defense things lined up. So, multi-calibers, multi-choices, variances, and adaptability in a limited number of firearms. Makes it a wonderful system. I had one video in that chain that one of the individuals said, this is my go-to rifle for the zombie apocalypse. And it was the AK. And then he said, and then the shit hits the fan scenario, he had his AR. Well, you're dividing your assets and splitting one of them up on a fictional situation that is never going to happen. I get tired of, I mean, it's laughable at times, what grown-ups will actually focus on. My go-to firearm for a rifle in an all-around situation, in a shit hits the fan scenario, is, you guessed it, the AK-47. Now, how is this a system? Well, it has a number of different assets that provide more than one advantage. One, first of all, this is not your high dollar AK that you'll see over at Pete's Armory channel. This is, I think I spent $450 on this one. I mean, it's the stamped steel with the wood, and you know, Kalashnikov had it right. I mean, if it works, don't fuck with it. So this is the reason this rifle is the most abundant assault weapon across this planet. It works. It works every time. Easily maintained. You can swap parts from different AKs and they'll function. Also, I pulled the buttstock off and put a slide fire on it, so it has full auto capabilities. Civilian full auto capabilities, I'll put it that way. And then in a situation where you get a number of bad guys, you have the 70 round drum, full auto, and it's a can of Ruski Badass. That's all you can say about it. But I mean, look at this. First of all, there's no green on it. Second of all, it's all functional. There's nothing on this weapon that is not being used or is not needed. Right? Even the bayonet. The Russians had it right. Part of a system, right? This bayonet is stainless steel. So when it's not on the rifle, it's a fighting knife. It's got serrated blade, stainless steel, almost impervious to rust. The handle is a hardened plastic that will never deteriorate. You've got that funny little hole in the blade, right? I wonder what that's about, right? Here's your scabbard for the bayonet, and it's got kind of a funny tip on it. I wonder what that's all about. Actually, what that's all about is you take said fighting knife now, aka bayonet. There's a lug on your scabbard. Lock it in like that. I'm going to get closer so you guys can see. You see that? There's the scabbard. Can't tell if you can see that or not. The lug, a hole in the blade, lock. Now you've got a wire cutter, right? They think of everything, everything. I mean, something as simple as a fighting knife and a scabbard become a tool, a system. While they're putting together practical items and tools for offense and defense, we are looking at sprucing up firearms for an imaginary enemy. It's no wonder some of our enemies think of us as fools. For close quarter in defense, you've all seen this. This is my 6.8 short barrel. Also slide fire full auto capabilities. Got the streamlight, pressure switch, EOTech. So everything is set up for a close quarter situation. I had one subscriber, actually somebody watching one of my latest videos asked me what my choice for EDC is. It's the Glock 27. And I do carry it every day. I carry it in a Kydex holster that's easily donned and taken off if need be for a change of clothing, as opposed to, say, a belt loop or even a hybrid dealing with the clips and everything. It'd be a pain sometimes in a rush situation, like the ease of use for that holster in the Glock 27. This small Kydex is perfect. It's not a large firearm requiring, say, the weight distribution that a hybrid would afford in something like a 45 or a Glock 20. So easily concealable. Also, as in my last video, the Karambit EDC. The final part here I'm going to address is something that I am going to be very specific about, and I am not going to answer any questions regarding the building of said implement or said asset that I am going to show you right now. I'm going to call it the poor man's Claymore mine. Okay, so in a shit hits the fan scenario, you are defending, as I said, your family, your home, everything you own against would-be attackers other than zombies. A good tactical offense is a strong defense. Defenses always win the game. So, setting up a perimeter, a defendable perimeter, would be a primary goal in my book anyway. In the military, they do it with concertina wires and Claymores and other types of defensive assets. The neat thing about this is that in its basic forms, everything that goes into this is perfectly legal. You have triple-aught buckshot, you have ballistics gel, and you have reactive targets. Assembled, it would be a different story. But you wouldn't assemble something like this in a normal scenario. And in a situation like that, you would want to set up a number of these as a defensive perimeter. They would be easy to do, convenient. You don't have to have any wires running to the target. No sketchy radio signal to activate the target. The distance from you to the target would be, and the effectiveness of the Claymore would be limited only by your accuracy. So in essence, you could have targets much further away than a standard Claymore could be set. So the poor man's Claymore could be an effective defensive asset in a perimeter defense. There's all sorts of things that people can do once they stop focusing on useless things and put their minds to constructive thought processes. That was one of the things in my solar charger survival kits. I mean, there's a myriad of areas that people could, you know, if they put their mind to it, develop remarkable survival kits that will function in more than one respect. And I have been inundated with requests to sell the ones that I've already developed. And my intent was to have people get stimulated and you know, get out their ass and build their own and develop their own and get the satisfaction of having things that you know, serve their purpose and that they put together with their own hands. But it's easier just to want somebody to build it for you. I think that when you guys start thinking past putting your assets into something that's never going to happen and utilize what you have to develop an effective situation for something that has every potential in some time or another to be a real case scenario. That officer that died yesterday, all he was doing was going to work. He left his family in the morning and had no idea that he wouldn't be coming home. And he's a prepared professional. We as civilians need to be more prepared to defend ourselves, our families, against real threats and not make-believe. I'm sure I've ruffled a number of feathers. I'm sure I've pissed off a number of people. Well, shit happens. I mean, that's the way it is. But we all need to wake up. We got to stop providing ammunition to the liberals and saying these guys are freaking crazy. They're going around waiting for a zombie apocalypse, and they've got firearms. No wonder there's all this anarchy in the gun community. You know, it's not true. So let's let people know that we're smarter than that. I mean, you know, our past enemies, present and possibly future enemies, sit back and watch us all talking about zombie apocalypse, and they're probably shaking their heads and thinking that it's not, these guys are pushovers. I know you guys don't think you are, but you're not presenting it. I'm sure I've missed a lot of things, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate mail on this one, but it had to be done. You guys need to wake up, start using those brains, start producing something that is usable. So, as always, guys, have fun and be safe. This is Desert Gold out.